And yes, we are live. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining today. Okay, before us is an interesting topic. This month we've been talking about nutrition. And today we are here to talk about hidden sugars. Most parents, after live sessions like this, they send me messages to find out, okay, what about this? They have some questions relating to nutrition. And today I decided to talk about hidden sugars. You know, a lot of persons just believe in just giving their children just anyhow food. And some are ignorant about it. They don't actually know what they should be giving their child and all that. So we are talking about hidden sugars, what every special needs parent needs to know. Hidden sugars, what every special need parent needs to know. You need to know that sugars are bad. But one thing you should realize is that because it's called sugar doesn't necessarily mean that it's totally bad, because there are natural sugars in fruits. There are sugars in even the wholesome food, the natural food, the homemade food, but consuming bad sugar, that is what we're talking about. So we're here to bring an enlightenment when it comes to sugar, and to know that there are some foods you might be consuming, not knowing that it is actually bad and high in sugar. Welcome. If you have not invited your friends, your colleagues, your neighbors, your village people, please do that right now and tell them we are live. Please call your friends, your neighbors, call your village people, call your community people, call your loved ones, your siblings, your parents. Let everyone know that we are live and we are here to talk about hidden sugars. Now, what if I told you that some of the foods we confidently give our children every day contain more sugar than we could ever knowingly put on a spoon and feed them? And what if those foods are being marketed to us as healthy? Today, I am here to tell you never to give your child sugar. No. I am not here to tell you that you should not give your child sugar. I am not here to tell you don't give them sugar. I am here to show you where sugar is hidden and what excess sugar may be doing to your child's body, and how to make simple changes that can have a lasting impact. If I handed you a glass and asked you to pour 10 spoons of sugar into it and give to your child to drink, would you do that? That's a question you need to answer. If I just give you one cup and say, okay, put 10 cubes of sugar, put 12 cubes of sugar, and give to your child to drink, you would not do that. But yet, many parents unknowingly do exactly that every week. They do that every week. Choose certain drinks, juices, flavored beverages, and processed food. They do that every day without even knowing that that's the exact same thing that they are doing. If I tell you to give 10 cubes of sugar to your child, you won't do that. But unknowingly, at times, you're still giving your child that same sugar we see. But the sugar we don't, that's the biggest problem. It's not the sugar we see, it's the sugar we don't see. Because we parents, we see a candy, chocolate, sweets, cake. We recognize this as just sugar. But the hidden sugar, that we often miss could be juice drinks, fizzy drinks, flavored yogurt, breakfast cereals, malt drinks, biscuits, sweetened milk, packaged smoothies, energy drinks. Please run. No. Flavored oats. You see all manner. Sugar has become very clever. I hope you know that. That is what I am here to tell you, that sugar has become very clever. It doesn't dress like candy anymore. He's no longer dressing like, that thing you see. He now dresses like health food. You should realize that today, that he's no longer dressing in that candy form and all that. It's not very clever. The world is now going very clever and very intelligent generally. So now you need to realize that sugar is not really that until you see those cubes, or if it's measured, until you are seeing it 1 teaspoon or 1 tablespoon of sugar. No. Now I want to let you know why excess sugar is a problem. Because excess sugar, when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to helping a child with developmental issue, excess sugar can contribute to energy highs and crash. You see, today, the energy of this child will just jump up, and the next minute is crashing. Poor appetite, because excess sugar makes children to have poor appetite. It also increases risk of dental problems. Sugar is bad for the teeth. You see them having dental issues. Excess sugar also causes weight gain, reduced intake of more nutritious foods. When children feed on sugar excessively, it makes them have less of nutritious food craving. It makes them have the appetite to take more nutritious food. So how many parents have watched their child eat snacks all day and then refuse real food? I hope you can relate. You just sit there, they want to eat biscuit, yogurt, fizzy drinks, and all that. After that, they will not take the real food, because it has already filled them up. They might not even want to eat healthy foods anymore. Sometimes the problem is not even that the child isn't eating. The problem that might be that they are just filling up on food that provides calories without providing enough nutrition. Please, I hope I can be seen. I hope I can be heard. If you can see me, if you can hear me, can I see that? Can I be seen? Can I be heard? Okay. The problem is not that you are feeding your child, or the problem rather is not that the child isn't eating. The problem is that they are filling up on foods that provide calories, just calories, without providing enough nutrition. Just calories without providing enough nutrition. Now, parents of children with autism and developmental delays often face additional challenges. Examples: food selectivity. Most children on the spectrum already are picky eaters. So many of them do not take food presented to them just easily like that. They already face with additional challenges of sensory preferences. They're already faced with additional challenge of limited accepted foods. They're already faced with additional challenges of difficulty introducing new food. When introducing new food to them, so many of them don't take. So parents of children with additional needs, parents of children with autism are already facing family stress. They are facing busy therapy schedules. They are facing issues that the child is not eating. They're already facing all this. And because feeding can be difficult, many families end up relying on whatever food their child will accept. Because we know that children with special needs are already faced with issues of food selectivity, very picky when it comes to food. A lot of persons will just say, all my child wants to eat is rice all day. All they want to eat is French fries all day. All they want to eat is chicken nuggets. They don't want to eat any other food. So they're already faced with all these challenges. Now, parents are finding it difficult to really give their children food that are healthy. So because of that, they just rely on whatever their child accepts. If all their child accepts is noodles, they just kind of just succumb and just give to that child, because the child can't go hungry. Like a parent told me recently that she couldn't just wait, that there was one time that her child refused to eat all day. What I mean all day, I knew she was not like that. Or actually refused to eat all day because she did not give what he wanted. And, parents now, from that borough of compassion, from that place of love and empathy, she had to just give in because she couldn't wait and just be seeing her child go hungry for several hours, turn into a whole day. She couldn't just wait to see her child, starve. She had to give the child what the child wanted, which she knew wasn't healthy, until I started teaching her what better options she could opt for. Because feeding a child can be difficult, so they just give that child what they want. I understand that perfectly. This is not about judging parents. It's not about just coming to condemn because I feel it's easy or because my child is eating what my child was once picky. I've said it several times. Even despite that, I've started introducing fruits and vegetables to my children very early. My child still had some class of fruits that I wasn't eating. He still had the ones, but right now I can barely see anyone that is not eating, including watermelon that was that simple. He wasn't eating. I started with juicing it, making it a smoothie, everything. But today, I can put that fruit down as Richard for it. He can even go there to eat it even without being given. That's why most times when I'm also teaching on picky eating, I always tell parents not to give up. If you give up, how will that child accept it? You don't need to give up. You need to do that consistent exposure. So this is not about judgment. It's not about condemnation. No, it's about helping families make improvements where possible. It's about helping families, helping parents make improvements to know that these things could, because it makes even the journey tougher. It makes the journey more difficult. It makes the journey more exhausting and overwhelming than it already is. So there is this label trick. If sugar isn't listed as sugar, can you still spot it? That's one thing I want you to realize. I call it the label trick. If sugar is not just written sugar, will you be able to spot it? Because sugar may appear as, a lot of that. I always tell you, when you are buying any food for your child, whether in the store or in the open market or wherever you are getting things, and you are seeing some names, because I always teach parents, especially even in our visitor parents tribe, we teach parents how to read labels. We teach parents how to identify hidden sugars, because there are a lot of hidden sugars that you might not be aware of. So in as much as, okay, you want to read the labels, we always tell them the ones you don't understand, the names that you can't even tell, you don't know what this is, you are seeing big names and big explanation, just avoid it, just keep it. So sugar may appear as glucose, so people will just see glucose, okay, they can say, okay, glucose. They might not be able to really understand it as sugar per se. So it can appear as glucose, even if some are able to understand that, okay, glucose is also sugar. Some can appear as fructose. Some can appear as sucrose, maltose, all manner of names. So there are other names that is sugar that is not actually written sugar. It can also appear as syrup. It can also appear as dextrose. So you see this and you are wondering, it's not sugar. Food companies may know parents look out for that word sugar. So that's why sugar often arrives wearing a different name tag. You just wear that name tag that you are not expecting that, okay, this is sugar. So they just write, okay, ingredients, syrup or maltose or fructose. You feel, it doesn't have sugar. It is not, see, it's not, look at it now, it's not written sugar. So it appears wearing a different name tag. So now the question is, if your child eats something every day, have you ever stopped to ask, is it helping my child? So you will know from there. Is it helping my child, or it is simply keeping my child busy? Because some foods, they are just keeping children busy. So you need to ask, is it helping my child, or you just keeping this child busy? So when feeding a child, always put it into considerations. That's why we're going to be talking about healthier alternative. We have few minutes for all this. The time is quite spent. So I want to give you a few healthier alternatives when it comes to feeding a child. One, instead of soda, why not simply just give water? You can never go wrong with water, can you? There is a saying in our Nigeria palace, water not gets enemy. Indeed, water has no enemy. Water has no enemy. There is no complexity in it. Instead of soda, give water. Instead of candy, give fruits. Even in that fruit, there are some fruits that are very high in sugar, while some are moderately high in sugar, while some are low in sugar. Instead of giving a child candy, give fruit. Instead of giving sweet biscuits, you can give cashew nuts, you can give groundnuts, you can give some good nuts. Seeds are there. There's a way you prepare it. It won't just look raw in the child's mouth. Give her their alternative. It doesn't mean that it needs to be too boring because we are now eating healthy. There are sometimes you need to just spice it up. So instead of giving sugary cereal, at a time I used to give my children cornflakes. As I realized I wasn't bad, it was really not helping my child when he was battling leaky gut. As I took it out, and don't just take out without replacing. You must first, because most parents, when they hear something is bad, they're interested in taking out. They are not even interested in replacing. They're not interested in the healthy ones you are replacing. So before you take out, what are you replacing with? It is very crucial you know that. What are you replacing with? What is it that you are going to give as an alternative? Because nature abhors vacuum. You can't leave it empty. What you exist determine what comes in. So as you're taking this out, there should be, if better, two alternatives, or have like three safe. So as you're taking this out, you are trying, whether is this, okay, try this. Like me, I had to make breakfast, healthy breakfast options more for them to choose, because I was taking out one that wasn't right for my family at that time. Have different cereal, old cereal, fonio cereal, have different healthy cereal. You can do healthy pancake, you can do lots of healthy cereals, a healthy breakfast without the sugary ones, and without the children also feeling like they are missing out. Me, I first had with my family and I had a meeting. You see this, because they are children and they have a right to really understand why this. Don't do some things with like the conqueror, the emperor, the champion, the lion is here. Don't do things like, like I'm the boss. You take this or you leave it. If you don't want to eat, go and sleep. We were told those things when we were younger. Just tell you, if this is what you want to eat and this is what I have, if you cannot eat this, go and sleep. It wasn't really that easy. And when you are talking to a child with developmental issues, it's not really as easy as it seems. So as you're taking out sugary cereal, replace with oats. As you're taking out those fizzy drinks, replace with whole fruit juice. As you're taking out those juice that you bought in the store, you are taking out juices that are not okay. You replace with whole fruits. You can even make it with them. Make it as in, like one of the ways I made my child to really love taking these healthy things, I started making him participate in the preparation process. When I'm making those juices, I call him, we do it together. It's easier for you to take something you partook in. It's easier for you to take something that you were there when it was made than what you were just giving. You'll be wondering, I don't know what is inside this. So, but when you involve them, try to involve them as you are doing that. So instead of giving juices, fizzy drinks, make whole fruits. You can get orange, make orange juice, put in the cup. I do that. Give to the child. It will be very refreshing. And the child, if you are giving maybe apple, watermelon, pawpaw, depending on the fruits you are doing, you can make whole fruit juices from those. Sweet snacks, you can do steamed vegetables, carrots, just steam and give to the child. It doesn't really need to be taken out totally. You can replace with healthy alternative that the child will still enjoy. And as you are even doing that, you'll be exploring and be getting more ideas. And most times, as we are doing things, you realize that, okay, I need to do it this way. This child enjoys this texture, there are some of the children that like it very crunchy. Oh, this child likes it this way. Coconut, for instance, is very crunchy. So those children that like crunchy foods, like my child used to like crunchy cornflakes. He will not even put anything inside. Just want to be chewing it as it's just making that sound. You can give coconuts as an alternative. You can give cashew nuts, which is high in zinc, as an alternative, especially if the child is not allergic to some of those nuts. Groundnuts too. Is groundnut not sweet? It's sweet, but it's healthier than just buying the one that is wrapped, or maybe pastries that is wrapped in the store, or the one you bought from one eatery or another. Instead of giving that, you can just give those healthy alternatives, and the child will say, instead of giving processed nuts, you can boil egg, as simple as eggs. Just boil eggs and give to the child. And the child will be getting. We talked about the benefit of egg the other day. Talked about choline, how it's helping, for the brain, the gut brain. We talked about some of all those. You can actually go back and catch replay if you have missed this session since we started this month. So you can give boiled eggs. You can give a lot of healthy alternatives. So the goal is not about perfection. No. When I come out, I don't preach perfection, because you can't just get it all figured out. Because even there are some, stages to this thing. And every day comes with its own unique challenge. Every day comes with its own unique experiences. A child might take it today, tomorrow, some of the children might just want to try you. So the goal is not perfection. I don't preach perfection. It's not to be perfect, but the goal is progress. I always say this to parents. The goal is not perfection. The goal is progress. It's not about to be perfect. That my child do this. No, the goal is to make progress. And that progress matters. And that progress is all we want to see on a daily basis. See the child progressing day by day. See the child making tremendous progress, meeting up milestones. This is very crucial. This is what matters most than seeking for just mere perfection. Now, there's this 80% rule I always put when it comes to having giving my children healthy foods. I do not want you to remove, just know this, I don't want you to remove every sweet thing from your child's life. Because when it's too boring, it's also a problem. It doesn't really need to be too boring. I do not want you to become the food police. Don't become the food prefect. You don't have to be prefect. You don't have to be the food police. Instead, if you just improve 20% of your child's daily food choices and maintain it consistently, that improvement compounds over months and compounds over years. That is where I started from. That is what I did. You don't need to now make it until it's 100%. I want everything 100%. This child will just take this for noon, take this for dinner, just like this, have it all figured out. No. Every time we give a child food, we are not just filling the child's stomach. We are teaching a taste. So it's that consistency that builds over the months and years that brings that result. You start saying, when I started this, my child wasn't just calm immediately. And I started being consistent with it. Before you know it, say, this is not the most calm child in the house. Right now, yes, I do hear that. We'll go out and say, this is so calm. This child is so calm. That child was like the most aggressive of all kinds. But from giving healthy food, removing excess sugar and all those hidden sugars that I'm talking about now, the child became calm. So that hyperactivity you are saying, that child that is just doing like monkey, jumping everywhere, it could be these hidden sugars that are in food that you keep exposing that child to. It could just be that. So we are teaching taste, we are creating a habit, we are shaping a future. It's not just about perfection. So the food your child ask for at age 15, it could be influenced by the food they repeatedly received at age 5. Like I made an example with my family. My mom wasn't giving to much of this sugar. Even when we were younger, she didn't really use MSG to cook. So as I got to this age and I had this challenge, it was influenced naturally by seeing my mom not cook with MSG. I could stop MSG because of the experience I had. So constant exposure, this thing is building habits without you knowing. It's shaping that child's future without you knowing. It's building habits. It's creating that consistency that matters than just perfection. Then my parents will always say this: there is no zip in your tummy. To say, okay, when I eat this thing, and when it's bad for me, I will just, because when we complain, we want this, children always want it the sugary way. Say, your tummy does not have zip. So that you say, okay, if I take this and it's not okay, I will just unzip it and wash it and do this. Nothing like that. So you have to be careful what you feed your tummy. You have to be careful what you put inside. And she wasn't using MSG to cook when I had this, and the food was still tasting well. My dear, if you eat my food, if you don't lick your hand, that means it's not me. If food is still nice, you don't need to pack MSG inside food before you realize that the food will be good. You don't need all the hidden sugars inside food. You don't need all the syrup and all the, a lot of chemicals, preservative before you know. So you see what I'm saying now? So what your child will be practicing at age 15 might be influenced seriously by what you were exposing the child to at age 5. You will be influenced by the food they repeatedly received. That's why you see most times you see parents do things. You ask them, how did they come about? I don't know. That's how I saw my mom do it. There's a story that I've had from one coach. He said that he saw a wife, when he wants to cook a corn, he will first break it into two. When the person breaks it into two, one day the husband asked, why is it that anytime you want to cook or a boiled corn, you will break it before cooking? He said, I don't know. That's how I saw my mom do it. Good enough, the mom was still alive. They went to the mom. Mama, my wife said this, how you said, she doesn't even know also. She saw her own mom did that. And good enough, the grandmom, the wife's grandmom, which was this mother's mother, was still alive. She was asked to, when you were cooking corn, you were always breaking it. Why? The grandma said her pot was too small. So with the size of pot she had, she needed to break the corn to size the pot. Meanwhile, the mom took that, ran with it. You see how patterns are formed. That's why you see you can really create healthy patterns for your family that they will grow with. I am telling you that there are some things my children might not do today because it's something that they were not exposed to consistently. Like there are some things I don't eat today. I've not had any reason to battle with sugar and all that because I wasn't exposed to it. So it became easy for me. There are some that might be tougher. So there are some persons that when you're telling them stop this or that, it's more tougher for them because that's the habit they form. Because breaking old habits and forming new ones are very, very difficult. So the parent, the mother passed that to the child, and that was how the woman ran with it. If that narrative was not questioned, she would have also passed it on to her child. Before you know it, it becomes a habit. So you need to ask ask yourself today, what habits are you creating for your child? What habits is formed in your home today? Because when the child is 20, what you are exposing them to, okay, like I said, that it wasn't a difficult thing. removing MSG. It wasn't a difficult thing. Start cooking with locust beans. I cook my soup with locust beans, and it's so much, as when you mean yummy, the taste is always superb. Locust beans, cooking with our Nigerian iru, dawa, whatever you mushrooms, which are very high in vitamin D. I have given my children those because I saw my parents do it. And I saw how my mom always did it. So it became easy for me to also cook with all these natural things. So when I'm getting things, at times I just refer to the village to get those things. So it wasn't like a battle. It wasn't like I need to now study it and do too much research on it or anything, because of exposure. So that is the power of exposure. That is the power of consistency. So when I talk about consistency, and I come here to preach about consistency all the time, you see the reason why I talk about it. Because in consistency, patterns are formed. In consistency, you are shaping the child's future. In consistency, you are building habits that will last. So as we conclude now, most parents worry about the future. Will my child become more independent? Will my child learn new skills? Will my child reach their potential? These are important questions, but there is another question we should ask. What habits am I building today? These are the main questions we should ask. What habits am I building today that my child will carry into tomorrow? Please, dear parents, ask yourself that question today, in as much as you are afraid whether the child, because the Bible says we should not care for tomorrow, that tomorrow will handle itself. Rather, focus on the habits you are creating today, because it's your today that will become your next week. What you are going to see next month is as a result of what you are doing today. Your next year is going to be shaped by the habits you are doing daily. I always say people, until you work on your daily habits, you are not prepared for that next month you're talking about, next year you're talking about. So these questions should be paramount. What habits am I building today that my child will carry into tomorrow? That is one of the major questions we should ask ourselves. What habits am I building today? So instead of saying, I want to make my child, I can't wait for this child to be independent, I want to build new skills, check your habits. If there's any word you should not forget today, if there's any word, even if you forget every other thing that is being said today, that you should not forget, if any word you should go by today is, what habits am I building today that my child will carry into tomorrow? What habits am I building today that is going to shape my child's future? What habits am I building today that is going to set the pace for their transformation? So we are going to be stopping here at this moment. This is just part of what we discuss. This is just part of what we learn in the Peseta Parents Tribe. So if you have not registered, and good news, we have a 3-day program coming. It's the Peseta Foundational Program. It's a 3-day program starting in July 29th to August 2nd, 2026. You don't want to miss it. Even as you are registering for the inner circle, come and have a glimpse, come and have a taste of what the Peseta Parents Tribe, come and have a taste of the experience, come and have a taste of what is happening there. So we are opening a 3-day program, and it's almost a giveaway. So do well to send us a DM to register. Is 14,999, and we are going to be shutting down. So I just want to get a few persons to coach on this, and you will see transformation. It's also going to be followed with a 7-day one-on-one coaching. I just felt led to do it. As we're talking about nutrition, this one is going to be followed with a 7-day one-on-one coaching for that period, for you to experience the transformation, set the pace for the transformation you desire for your child. You don't need to be told. You will be glad you register. So send us a DM, register for it. Tell your loved ones, tell your friends, those that are not here, let them know that we are having this program. So if you have not registered for the Inner Circle program, do well register. What you will gain, if you've ever gained anything these past weeks, now imagine, this is just an aspect, a topic, or a fragment of what we are having for one full year. And we teach this on a daily basis. This is how we teach on a daily basis in the Inner Circle. Weekly webinars, daily tools, daily things to know what you are going to be doing. So if you've gotten value this few weeks. How would it be when you are there? So register, send us a DM. And also, if you've not subscribed to our YouTube channel, do well and subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you get notified when we come live. And send the link to others who may benefit. And thank you for staying true. Thank you. And do have an amazing day ahead. God bless you.